morning, guys. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Gina of Gina Renee RN Budgets. I'm a zero-based budgeter who now uses the cashless system to assist me on my journey to financial and debt freedom. So if you're new here and you're one of those apprehensive people that maybe was curious about the cash envelope system and zero-based budgeting, but you just not accustomed to using cash or pulling money out the bank or saving money in your house, I want you to go ahead and subscribe because I've done both. I did the actual cash envelope system for 3 solid years, and it revolutionized my finances. It works. The system does work. However, it can be a little daunting. It could be a bit much, especially if you're a busy person. So, because I know the system works, I decided to try to figure out a way to make the system work without all of the inconveniences that I felt it was causing. All right. So I've never had an issue with saving money in my house. You know, fortunately, I live in a house where there's always somebody home, fortunately or unfortunately, but it's always somebody there. So that was never an issue for me. I know as a cash envelope stuffer, we would get numerous comments about why would you not put your money in the bank to gain interest, yada yada yada. And that's all true and valid points. However, I feel like a lot of the people commenting maybe don't even have nothing in the bank. You just comment to say it should be there. My point is, at least it's somewhere being saved. And to me, that's most important as opposed to where it's being saved. And high yield savings accounts, you have to have a substantial amount of money in there to really see a difference. Like, literally, you over here clowning about a few cents. So, that being said, I travel for work. I'm a caregiver, not just to my husband, but slightly for my dad too. And I have a very demanding job. So I don't have a lot of time, okay? What I was running into is when I would get paid, I wouldn't even have time to go to the bank. And literally, like, I need to buy groceries. I need to, like, go to the store. So I was trying to find time to go to the bank. Then once I finally made it to the bank, I was trying to hold on to that money to find time to record it for YouTube. So those were probably my 2 biggest drawbacks. The third drawback, which was not huge, but I'm just being transparent. I've been doing it for 3 years. It works, but it takes discipline and consistency, right? So what I felt, and I can only speak on my experiences and how they affected me. But when I was trying to save money in envelopes, like doing savings challenges or sinking funds in little envelopes, having those small amounts of money kind of spread out among some envelopes made it look like it wasn't a lot of money to me. And so it made me more apt to just take it out and say, I'll just start back over next payday. So what I mean is, like, I may have $300 saved, right? It's $30 and 10 spread out over 10 envelopes. Well, instead of me seeing that as $300, I see it as $30. that that's just $30. I could just take it out and start over next time, right? Where as opposed to if I just house everything in the bank and my balance in my savings is $300, it motivates me to save more. But to just see $30 in an envelope is a little bit disheartening, as if I have not made progress. And so it was easy for me to just pull it if my kids needed something, or something came up, or whatever the case may be. Oh, I just pulled it out of here and start over, because it felt to me like I was pulling out $30 as opposed to the 300 that it was all added up together. That's a lot to explain where I'm coming from, but that was huge for me. So I had to figure out a way to make this same system work, but minus the cash. All right. So what I came up with is I had a main checking account that my paycheck got direct deposited in, and I pay all my bills. 90% of my bills are on auto pay. And then I would go and take out the cash for my variable spending. So what I did was I opened up a second checking account. Now, it doesn't have to be a real checking account. It could be one of those prepaid cards, just somewhere else to put your spending money. And what I do is I do the same exact budgeting method, everything exactly the same. However, instead of going to the bank and physically pulling out the cash, I transfer my variable spending money to that other account. I stopped carrying my debit card for my bill account. I unlinked it to Amazon. I unlinked it to anything else. I unlinked it to Apple Pay. I unlinked it to Cash App. And so therefore, I don't have access to the money for my bills very easily. All right. And the card stays at home. And so I send my variable spending money to my other account, and I spend from that with the debit card. Then my savings, I do savings challenges and everything, but I do them digitally. And I go through each savings challenge like, okay, yeah, I'm saving $5 for this, $10 for this. But then I add it all up and send that one amount. I almost hit a bump. And send that one amount to a savings account. I usually send it to my husband because he's more tighter with money. Sometimes, though, this is another key. If you struggle with holding on to money, if you have somebody that doesn't and you can trust them, of course, this is my husband, I would utilize that person to keep you accountable. So make sure that either they're on the account with you or something to that effect. Let them manage it. Don't have a debit card for it. Don't have access to it, where you would literally have to have a conversation with that person in order to draw that money out. But that's just what I need. Okay, so I'm being honest with myself, right? So my savings challenges, I go through them because they're fun and they are motivating. And I just tally up whatever 4 or 5 savings challenges I'm doing. And I send that one amount to my husband to put into our high yield savings account. This is what works for me, right? It doesn't work for everybody, but I just knew I needed to keep budgeting. But I had to make it more convenient. I had to make it easier, or I was going to give up altogether. All right? And it's working. And it feels like less of a daunting task to me. I can already have my budget planned out. When I get paid, I can just right quick transfer what I'm supposed to transfer to my spending account, and I could go to the store and not worry about it. Now, initially, I used to track what I was spending to kind of make sure I was sticking to the budget within my different categories. So I had food, then household type stuff, I had gas money, I had spending money, and then a little bit of miscellaneous for if I went over in any of my categories. Well, I've been doing it so long that, I'm just used to it, and I felt like tracking that was just another extra step, right? So I stopped tracking it and I named that just my spending, my variable spending. And I spend it on whatever we need. When it's gone, it's gone. When that account is empty, we wait till payday. All right? So the only thing I really have to really keep in mind is that watch my gas tank. So when that variable spending money gets low, I want to make sure in the event I may need gas again before payday, I have to be mindful of that. Anything else, I really don't sweat it. Groceries, I always shop enough to last the full pay period. But this works for me. It's cashless. I'm gaining interest in our high yield savings account. It's still not a lot, but I am gaining interest. There's no cash in my house. I'm not carrying around a lot of cash. I'm not trying to find places to make sure they take cash or, things of that nature. Maybe it's kind of safer, especially me as a woman, because now I budget about $800 between all my categories for spending money. So if I just grabbed my cash wallet, I'd be walking around with $800 on payday. That may not be the safest thing in the world. But a lot of people do their stuff differently. They only take the envelope that they need. And it's a way of regulating themselves also. But this is what I'm doing new for 2025. I started it in December, but this is what I'm doing for 2025. I'm a big proponent of why wait. Nothing's about to be different in 2 days or 2 weeks or whatever. Start now. Nothing's going to be perfect. If you broke now, you're going to be broke in a month. Just start budgeting now, and hopefully you won't be broke in 3 months. But if you're broke now and you keep postponing or procrastinating and putting it off, you're still going to be broke 3 months ago. Nothing's going to change if you don't do anything different. Nothing's going to change. And I don't care if in your mind you think you don't make enough. I don't care if you're behind on bills. It can be done. When you start putting stuff on paper and holding yourself accountable, you will be surprised. When you start putting limitations on how much you're spending and really taking a look at how much you really are spending, you will be surprised how much money you do have, right? And sometimes we got to bite the bullet. If we're behind, sometimes we got to go strip it down to the bare necessities until we get back on our feet. It happens. Sometimes we got to figure out, can I work a part-time job? Can I Instacart? Can I DoorDash? Can I Uber Eats? What can I do to generate a little bit of extra money until I can get back on my feet? Maybe it's just temporary. Maybe you make enough, but you're just so far behind that it appears like you're not making enough. But you just got to catch up and do the things you have to do and commit that you will not allow yourself to get back in that space. There's something so freeing and peaceful about your bills being paid on time. Because I've been there. I've been there where paying past due balances, disconnection notices, I've been there disconnected. Okay, I'm keeping it real today. I'm keeping it real. And it's so stressful, and the amount of weight you feel behind, not knowing how you're going to make it from paycheck to paycheck, it's a huge weight. So when you finally get in front of that and you experience the feeling and the peace of mind of not just having your bills paid, but having them paid on time, having money to get the things that you need, and saving, bye. I'm telling you, it's worth it. And I'm very much encouraging you guys today to give it a chance. It's not easy, but it's worth it. That's all I got for you today. As always, I'm driving, so I wish you peace, love. I'm not even gonna do it. It's just a heart of love and prosperity. Get started budgeting today.